Hello, folks. Okay, yesterday there was a big presentation from Microsoft Flight Simulator people. There were many presentations. We got Thrustmaster news, all kinds of news. Any Builds is working on the A380, but no details on when it's going to be released or whether it'll come to PS5 or anything. So just a whole lot of nothing, really. Even outfits like FS Elite, who got to speak to Thrustmaster face to face, don't have any more details about the new yoke and throttle quadrant. And there's also a thing for PC. It's a grip. It's an Airbus grip for Warthog Ava and Warthog Mark II. Doesn't apply to us because none of that stuff works on PS5. I'm not even sure if it works on Xbox. But what we did get is the Piper M600 release, the Expert Series 2. What do we got here? 100 credits for this thing. It's kind of interesting in some of the detail they put into it, whether or not this stuff will actually work. I mean, they presented some wonderful, wonderful things here. Apparently, if you don't do your checklist properly, you could catch your engine on fire. If you have the fuel pumps on too long, too much fuel accumulates in the engine. When you go to start it, you'll get a big flame out. Apparently, they've simulated that if you're flying at altitude and it's too cold, your fuel lines will freeze and you'll get malfunctions. So again, whether or not that actually works, I mean, it's nice of them to say that they did all this stuff, but we know how it is. I don't want to be cynical, but they haven't earned my trust, so I'm going to be cynical until they prove me otherwise. So anyway, it's brought to you by Microsoft and FS Reborn, the Piper M600, 100 credits. That's about 35 Canadian dollars, probably about $30 US, and probably around 35 euros. This does not function in career mode. And what else? I think it can hold 6 people. And I think it cruises at 40,000 and does about 274 knots, something like that, if I remember correctly. Where's the show more? They did a bunch of changes to the marketplace on how it looks, the appearance. I don't know. They were so happy about how they did this, but I don't know. It seems worse. I don't know. They basically said the way it's been up until now is complete caca. Is pretty much what they said. So they also said third-party releases. Some of the third-party releases they did were complete caca. And their words were not as great as we should have done it, but we will fix them. And he just didn't add soon. So they knew they were crap when they released them. People spent good money on it, and now we just have to wait till they fix it. I'm sorry if I'm being cynical, but they said a lot of things yesterday that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to hopefully this will come through. Listen to what he actually said. He blamed Sony for, first of all, they're saying SU 5.1, the beta, is the most stable that they've ever had since the release in 2020. The previous one, the 2020, most stable, and it's not that stable. I make it crash all the time. It's better than what we have in live, but it's not. Most stable doesn't necessarily mean stable. So the fact that they're patting themselves on the back for what's happening on the most recent release, 5.1, is kind of, I don't know, it's not encouraging. But here's what he said. He basically blamed Sony right here. Listen to this.
On PS5, we had started to let content in. We have real obligations to keep that super stable, which is why it makes me so happy that Sim Update 5.1 is the most stable we've ever been, because otherwise Sony will get mad.
Because otherwise Sony will get mad, not the customers. There's this if it's not stable, Sony will get mad. So basically what they're saying is if Sony wasn't pushing back and saying you need to do better, they would just leave crap. They would just leave it as crap, and that would be that. And, maybe they'd fiddle a little bit for tiny fixes here, but it's only because Sony is, and I've said this, Sony is putting pressure on them because Sony doesn't want crap on their system, and they're right about that. Why people are saying Sony is being too picky look what we have. It's a giant mess. And if it wasn't for Sony, at least in part, putting pressure on them to say, fix this mess, fix this junk, they probably wouldn't be doing half of what they're doing right now. So anyway, I was a little bit miffed that they didn't say, I mean, what they should have said was to make our customers happy, to give a positive experience to our customers. And they said, otherwise Sony will get mad. So we need to make it stable. So, and then pat themselves on the back for being so stable that we know it's not so stable. Maybe it is the best at it, but that I wasn't around for 2020. I don't know how bad 2020 could have been in the beginning if this is the most stable. So anyway, Piper M600, that's a new product. We talked about the yoke. There's a bunch of things they talked about with the roadmap for the rest of the year, SU6 timeline, AAU5 timeline, and some other things. I'll put out some videos, I guess, little by little as I make them. I got a lot of things going on in my personal life right now. I would love to do like one big comprehensive video, but I'm not sure that I can make it happen in the time frame I want. So enjoy this for now. I know there's some people who are waiting for this, and I know other people don't give a crap about it. So, yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.